Hello, welcome. This is a fourth part of Anthropology of Contemporary Lectures. Today's lecture is titled Festivalisation and Anthropological Study of Festival. I would like to introduce idea of festivalization and also a problem of anthropological study of festivals. Similar to my last lecture, I will present you my fieldwork experiences based on research project dedicated contemporary music festivals. In this lecture, I would like to answer following questions. First, what is a festival? Second, how we can define festivalization? And third question, how does anthropology study of contemporary festivals? Let's start from general view on festival as a cultural phenomenon. Festival is old and one of the most popular cultural phenomena. Etymologically, the term festival derives from the Latin festum and festivus and was used from the 14th century. From original term then derived another forms. For example, the Italian festa, the French fête and festival, Spanish fiesta, the Middle English fest, day and festival. In the Middle Ages, most festivals were held under the auspices of the church and they are a part of the religious calendar. But in the end of the last century, festival began to be used as a generic form for a large array of celebrations. We can define the festival as a themed public celebration or socio-spatial phenomenon taking place at a specially designated time outside of everyday routine, shaping the social capital and celebrating selected elements of culture. Today, all kinds of calendar events, markets, meetings, feasts, religious and secular rituals would like to be called festivals. Especially during the last decades, festivals have turned into folk feasts for all kinds of people with all kinds of music and a large variety of non-musical activities. From one hand, you can participate in Fryderyk Chopin Festival in Duszniki Zdrój or in Richard Wagner Festspiele in Bayreuth, and on the other hand, you can visit Festival of Pierogi or dumplings in English, Festival of Potatoes, or even Festival of Pickled Cucumber. In consequence, festival became the most popular or even almost universal form of public activity, especially in urban spaces. Every year, only in Poland, one could participate in more than 500 music, theater, literary and dance festivals. Cities as Istanbul, Cannes or Milan organize big shopping festivals. Another cities prepare festivals of museums and festivals of science. Furthermore, we can observe strong and deep connection between two types of industry: festival industry and tourism industry. Logic of cooperation between them is very simply: the festival industry provides the experience and the tourist industry provides the audience. Consequence in large festivals geographies, especially in the summers. Several hundred large festivals are arranged only in Europe during 2 or 3 months. The number of smaller festivals is literally countless. In this light, we can conclude that world has been festivalized. In my opinion, we can perceive many of contemporary festivals as a specific extension of paradigm of McDonaldization formulated by George Ritzer. In the most general formula, McDonaldization involves 4 values. First, efficiency or efficient method for satisfying many needs. Second, calculability or emphasize on the quantitative aspects of products sold and services. In this system, quantity has become equivalent to quality. That means bigger is better. Third, predictability or comfort in knowing that world offered no surprises. And fourth, control or standardized and unified procedures and way of doing. I suggest that we can recognize many of contemporary festivals as MAC festivals. It's a part of a global process in which McDonaldization affects not only the restaurant's business, but also education, work, the criminal justice system, healthcare, travel, leisure, dieting, politics, family, religion, and virtually every aspect of society. In this paradigm, MAC festivals are highly predictable and standardized forms of leisure and consumption. They're organizers based on quantity, and they want to satisfy many consumer needs. The dominant logic is clear. If we provide attractive festivals product, for example, popular music band, or service, for example, opportunity to shopping, we achieve success. Cultural festivals became a main element in construction a proper atmosphere of the urban space. This factor turned urban space into a place of constant festival, a phenomenon called festivalisation. The term of festivalisation was coined by two German sociologists, Hartmut Hausermann and Walter Sieber, in 1983. They focused on large sport events like Olympic Games and football championships and festivalization of urban politics. Hausermann and Siebel described the instrumentalization of large-scale cultural and sports events, government and entrepreneurial support for them. Festivalization transforms an urban environment into a showcase for visitors and global audiences. It means also to clean up an event precinct and to rid this environment of unwanted objects and people. Obviously, the scope, scale and impact of festivalization depend fundamentally on context. The study of the 2006 Football World Championship in Hamburg found that this city did not need to be festivalized because the required local urban infrastructure was already well established. By contrast, the other study discovered the forced removal of the local residents from event during 2010 Football World Championship in the Republic South Africa. Please look on video material. You can find some problems with festivalization just in Republic South Africa.
It cost nearly $150 million to build the stadium, and only 4 FIFA games will be played here. Some locals are asking, could the money have been better spent on something else?
A few hundred meters away from the multi-million-dollar venue, Phumzile Masinga is worried. She worked as a bricklayer building the stadium. Now that it's finished, she's jobless. In a country where 1 in 4 people are unemployed, she's wondering how she's going to feed her family.
It's not right. After the World Cup, what's going to happen to that stadium? Nothing. It's a waste of money. Why not spend the money on the poor?
South Africa has some of the biggest wealth disparities in the world. Millions still live with no running water or electricity. Yet the government is spending more than $5 billion on a football tournament. Some are calling it poor judgment.
Certainly there will be white elephants. Already the stadium, Absa Stadium, which is a rugby stadium, it was not fully utilized. Now we have got 2 stadiums next to each other. How to justify that against the background of abject poverty in this country? We still have not been convinced of the post-World Cup plans to make this stadium viable.
But officials are adamant there will be no white elephants and all stadiums will be used after the World Cup. They say some of the 1 billion rand spent on Nelspruit Bombela Stadium Roughly $150 million went to building a school and creating employment.
If, for instance, I take 1.3 billion and build houses, you've got people who've got houses, but those people will not have work. They can't maintain their families and so on. You take 1.3 billion, you build a stadium, you've got about 500 people minimum that will have to work at the stadium. They can build their own houses, they can continue their own lives. To me, it's a better investment.
South Africa has gained world-class infrastructure from this World Cup, by far the best on the African continent. But the poor in this country say they're still waiting to see how hosting one of the world's biggest sporting events will benefit them.
So, in classic anthropological works, festival was treated as a form similar to ritual, framed by inverted and temporary abnormal reality. In this light, many anthropologists observed how, during festival time, the norms of rules of everyday life were suspended. In the study of primitive or tribal festival situation or of excess, disorder and temporary chaos has been interpreted in relation to communities' mythical pasts. Key contributions to the anthropological field included Roger Calois' theories of transgression and play, Arnold van Gennep idea rites of passage, and Victor Turner's concept of liminality, anti-structure, and communities. In next part of my lecture, I will describe and interpret two examples of contemporary festival. Serbian Gucha Trumpet Festival and Canarian or Spain Carnival of Santa Cruz de Tenerife. I choose these particular festivals because they are brilliant examples of contemporary festivals' diversity. Moreover, Carnival is an example par excellence of festival. By the way, I should notice that this same year, exactly 61, was a common startup for both of them. This is an important and significant coincidence. I conducted ethnographic fieldwork in both festivals. I collected and then interpreted data, trying to use a few ethnographic methods. Participant observation, of course, informal interviews, of course, also, and analysis of additional source, local press, websites, as well, photos, video recordings, and elements of field recording. I should to emphasize that ethnographic fieldwork of festivals entail several important consequences. First, research is carried out only within a few or dozen days at most. Second, the research is conducted in the presence of many people. And third, the context of research includes many practices, such as listening to music, being in a group of friends, spontaneous music making, eating, drinking, resting, etc. All these factors surely influence the course of research and its results. In my personal experience, Festival in Gucha and Carnival in Santa Cruz are very memorable events. During both of them, my mind was a field of sharp battle between professional field worker and spontaneous participant, between seriousness and fun, obligation, enjoyment. In these cases, classic ethnographic formula of participant observation didn't work. Both of festivals were placed for participation and for observation, but not for participation and observation simultaneously. As Barbara Tedlock, American anthropologist, suggests, during participant observation, ethnographers move back and forth between emotionally engaged participants and coolly dispassionate observers of the lives of others. In this light, I was rather an emotionally engaged ethnographer than coolly dispassionate observer. Moreover, I think that during festivals' fieldwork, I was true anthropologist in the field only under specific conditions, partly temporary and in permanent collaboration with music, dance, crowds of people, huge of colors, smells and sounds. In this context, I would like to refer to James Thomson's horizontal method for researching. Horizontal method for researching. This is very important point. In Thomson's model, the researcher is situated alongside festival's participant, and the gap between researcher and his or him collaborators is diminished, and relations are distributed along a horizontal axis rather than a vertical one. Okay, so what about Guccia? The one of the biggest music festival in Europe, drawing more than 500,000 visitors, originally was a small regional event which took place in teeny Serbian town. You can see this town on the map. Guccia is located in the region of Dragačevo, in the southwestern part of what is today the Republic of Serbia. Guccia has been a town since the beginning of 19th century and was once the administrative capital of the Dragačevo district. The first performance of Dragačevski Sabor Trubacza, or Guccia Trumpet Festival in English, took place in the town of Guccia in 1961, and it was rather modest, as only 4 local players performed. Apart from the concert, there were also other events, such as sport competitions, a contest about the most traditional women's attire and skills in traditional crafts. In following years, there were already 6 participating bands, but year by year the festival's popularity was growing. The local event eventually became the largest regular festival for brass band, not only in Serbia or the Balkans, but also throughout Europe. It soon became necessary to conduct qualification rounds, as the events now attracted dozens of ensembles. Similarly, the audience was also increasing. The number of viewers reached almost 1 million by the year 2010. In the same year, about 2,000 musicians from almost 20 countries arrived to perform at the festival. Politica, a high circulation Belgrade newspaper, oldest in the Serbia, even called that edition of the festival the largest gathering of people in Serbia's history. When Yugoslavia still exists, Dragačevski Sabor Trubacza was a purely local event that responded to the official policy of promoting the folklore of federated nations. A new chapter in the history of the Sabor began in 1993, when it became a truly mass event with newly defined cultural, historical, and ethnic dimensions. Yugoslavia broke up into a number of states, and open conflict between the Serbs and the Kosovar Albanian was escalating, and the festival in Guccia, a town on the border of old Serbia, now became an element of ethnic conflict. The national evolution of the festival was reflected, for instance, in the statement of Dragoljub Jovašević. He said, "Guccia is a temple where a due sacrifice is offered in the struggle for our national heritage. A temple where the liturgy is held by the trumpet and the national past is the communion." In the same national context, Miodrag Dukic, the Minister of Culture of the Republic of Serbia, declared Guccia to be heart of Serbian culture. And similarly, Branko Radičević, one of the most famous organizers of the festival, said, "Our Sabor is the fest of pilgrims flocking to the sanctuary of national tradition." The Prime Minister of the Republic of Serbia, Milorad Dodik, and another VIP, Vojislav Kostunica, were present at the 2007 edition of the festival. Dodik expressed the government support for the event by declaring, "If you love Serbia, you must also love Guccia, the most important town of the whole country during the festival." Furthermore, the Sabor in Dragačevo began to be even considered the most prominent expression of the essence of Serbian national culture. Obviously, the current Serbian authorities in Belgrade would strongly support that process of national redefinition. On the one hand, a large amount of money was provided to finance the subsequent edition of the festival. For example, the list of sponsors who supported the festival in 2010 contains the name of the most important national industrial companies of the country, such as Dunav Osiguranje or Telekom Serbia Belgrade, as well as prominent representatives of the press, TV and the banking sector. On the other hand, senior government officials personally appeared at the Guča festival. Apart from political and financial support, Dragačevski Sabor Trubača met with a strong and visible social positive response. During the Sabor, shop owners sold large amounts of t-shirts with images of Slobodan Milošević, Dragoljub Mihajlović, leader of Chetnik guerrillas during World War II, Radovan Karadzic, president of Bosnian Serbs, and General Ratko Mladic, or bearing the motto, Serbian hero. Visitors can buy flags and emblems of Serbia and various banners with inscriptions calling for an immediate return of Kosovo to the homeland were also offered for sale. Many times I observed young and old men who sang Serbian folk songs, drank rakia or beer and showed me 3 fingers, popular symbol of Serbia and Orthodox Church. Many of them dressed in provocatively t-shirts with Serbian heroes and slogans about eternal belongingness, Kosovo to Serbia. The same scenes and shouts I saw and heard just after closing ceremony of the festival. According to official discourse, most visitors express their national feelings by connecting the Sabor in Guča with traditional Serbian culture. Now I quote, especially for you, few opinions. We have it all here. The trumpet is our national instrument and the rakia is our national drink. Another one, the festival promotes Serbian identity, particularly through music and fun, so characteristic of our tradition and stemming from it. The festival increases our prestige throughout Europe. Guča is Serbia. This is the most important festival promoting Serbia, the symbol of fun and happiness. The festival brings people together, and that is why there are visitors from all over the world. I come here to see the folklore and folk customs. This festival promotes Serbian culture because the brass bands play our national music. We can be proud of this festival as is the most famous festival in whole Europe. By means of music, this festival tells the history of our nation. In the context of above statements, I would like to emphasize that the styling of the Sabor in Guča into a festival of Serbian culture and a show of Serbian identity is in itself a demonstration of banal nationalism, as Michael Bilic put it. In this way, Bilic intended to differentiate between the everyday popular nationalism from its extreme political variants. The most popular expression of such banal or so-called hidden nationalism include the use of flags in everyday settings, national songs, symbolism on money, sport events, festivals, idiomatic expressions in everyday language, and patriotic clubs. In other words, the banal nationalism is not only a flag hosted by national extremists, but also a flag printed on a t-shirt purchased by visitors of national festival. Not only a loud battle song, but also a joyous rhythm inviting people to have fun with music played by friendly band of trumpeters. In short, ethnicity and nationalism usually manifest themselves in undramatic, peaceful and festivalized ways. Serbia participant of Sabor in Gucia view the special value of the festival in that it expresses Serbian culture and tradition, particularly through music. In this way, Brass Band Festival has become an element of neo-folk culture and a thrash patriotism, as wrote Dragicevic Sesic and what Ivan Čolović, a Belgrade ethnologist, termed a Serbian Kulturkampf, that is, ethnicization and nationalization of Serbian history. Okay, now I'd like to say something about another festival, Carnival of Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Carnival is held each February or March, it depends on calendar, of course. It takes place in Santa Cruz de Tenerife, the capital of the largest of the Canary Islands. The carnival has a long tradition. It has been celebrated since the time of the earliest European settlement. Already in 17th century, chronicle Gaspar Luis Hidalgo made the first reference to the changing of sexes through costume in Santa Cruz de Tenerife. In the same time, the war diary of Antonio Lope described of comparsas, or big groups of dancers and musicians which remain one of the main attractions of local carnival. Spontaneous dance on the streets and especially changing conventional gender identification quickly has become a problem to government and to Catholic Church as well. In fact, carnival was prohibited long time until the second part of last century. During the dictatorships of Miguel Primo de Rivera Orbaneja and General Francisco Franco, the carnival was banned also. It was an element of political struggle against any sort of cultural or ethnic autonomy in Spain. But tradition of transgressive carnival in Santa Cruz was very strong, and these bans were largely ignored by local urban community. In the time of carnival, inhabitants of Santa Cruz transformed in tapadas, or groups, men and women covering by mask, continued carnival practices. In half of last century, once again got around the ruling by organizing so-called Fiestas de Invierno, or winter festival. First official winter festival took place in 1961 and involved 5 days. Together with the port cities of Cadiz, Santa Cruz was the only place in all Spain to continue with carnival throughout these years of austerity and dictatorship. In the end, after the death of General Franco and democratization of Spain, in 1976, Fiestas de Invierno was officially transformed in Carnival of Santa Cruz de Tenerife. From analytical point of view, the very important is that the festival is divided in two supplemental parts: the official carnival and the spontaneous carnival on the street. The official carnival has more than 100 groups, including comparsas, rondallas and other musical groups. They are engaged in every event, performing music and dance. Members of comparsas use different types of instruments and costumes, but most of them are rooted in Latin culture. Instead, rondalla is an ensemble of musicians using various chordophones, including the mandolins, guitars, violins, and also tambourine and castanets. The word rondalla derived from the Spanish ronda, meaning serenade. The particular tradition of rondalla was born in medieval Catalonia and then expanded to another region of Spain and then to Latin America. Members of Rondalla has a unique and homogeneous costumes. Usually they are singing about love, especially about unhappy. First Rondalla appeared in Santa Cruz at the end of 19th century. Second part of Carnival, as I said, spontaneous street carnival, is more loosely organized and comprises the people celebrating on the streets. Thousands of people come each day to the streets to participate, most of whom wear a disguise in accordance with carnival tradition. In my opinion, this is a very heart of carnival in Santa Cruz. In the last decade, Santa Cruz became a popular destination to gay, lesbian, bisexual and transsexual persons from whole Europe. Some streets are arranged in the zone of LGBT. Official posters which promote Carnival are transformed in their queer versions. 4,000 men take part in the election of Reininha, or drag queen of Carnival. An event is usually broadcast by Spanish television. The most important element of Carnival in Santa Cruz is opportunity to transform in other person, real, mythical or fiction, and also change of ordinary, conventional and stable gender identity. It seems like total, huge and never-ending parade which engaged whole population of Santa Cruz. Children, teenagers, adults, older man or woman, all social types participate in Carnival, and all of them disguise certain costume or mask. I observed bigger imagination and freedom in costumes creation among women. They talk me about their own costumes. Spider-Man, a little Red Riding Hood, captain in pin-up girl style, pirate, pharaoh, medieval queen, aerobic coach, Dalmatian dog, cat, superhero angel, demon, Sherlock Holmes, priest, fireman, American Indian woman, fairy, sailor, Hello Kitty, in Canarian handman style, hippie, flower, zombie, rocks musician, athlete. In comparison with women, men have chosen less variants: prostitutes, sailor, Zorro, babysitter, nurse, bee, soldier, Indian, Minnie Mouse, or even walking grapevine. Recent study conducted by psychologists from Universidad de La Laguna emphasized special cultural and psychological values of disguising. For majority heterosexual women, carnival practice of disguising is opportunity to fun and simply smile. And my perspective is similar. An opportunity to be something other than in ordinary life, opportunity to transgress dominant social and cultural order, and opportunity to create new time and space. They are the one of crucial value of Carnival in Santa Cruz for its local participants. The transgressive level of Carnival is attractive for many participants. When I asked chicharreros, or inhabitants of Santa Cruz, about basic motivation to participation in Carnival, they reaffirm it. I like Santa Cruz. We can disguise for anything and it's fun. I like to observe other people, their creativity, their costumes and dances. Because I like to party, because I like to disguise, it's a unique festival, full of joy and happiness. People here are without limits. Carnival is a good time for joy with my friends. Carnival is a great opportunity to transform in other person. Behind the level of common joy on the streets, many of chicharreros emphasized another dimension of Carnival. They told me about their own tradition, its value and significance. For example, Carnival is deeply rooted in our society. Carnival is the best way to promote our cultural heritage. We are proud of it. It's a fun and tradition. Carnival ritual cycle is strongly connected with canonic calendar of Catholic Church. Without Christian fast, craziness of Carnival is simply nonsensical. The most important part of ritual cycle is last week before Ash Wednesday. Ritual outline is following. Wednesday before Fat Thursday, the Queen of Carnival is elected. The event is broadcast to the entire country and abroad by satellite. Friday, the announcement parade or La Cabalcata Anunciadora is held. All participating groups with dance and music march along the main streets announcing the arrival of the carnival. Saturday, Sunday and Monday, this is a days of festing. Dance and music groups perform on stages building in many places. Tuesday, the last carnival parade is organized. El Coso or parade runs along main streets, marking the official end of carnival. El Coso demonstrates that carnival is the most important festivals on all Canary Islands. And they end Ash Wednesday. The burial of sardine, Entierro de la Sardina, is celebrated. A giant sardine made of papier-mâché is carried in funeral procession along the streets, which are draped in mourning. Procession is followed by wailing widows and persons dressed as priests, bishops, or popes, imitating blessing and other Catholic practices. Very popular among the participants are also different sexual objects. As I mentioned, very traditional elements of carnival are comparsas and rondallas. But the most typical for carnival in Santa Cruz is murga. Murga is a specific form of popular musical theater. Traditional murga group includes male chorus and few percussionists. Murguistas' dress is elaborate and colorful. They perform of a suite of songs and recitative which are based on a particular theme, serving to provide recent commentary on local events, local politics, scandals and rumors. In this way, murgas express another form of carnival fun. Like medieval clowns, murguistas transgress borders of normal world. Their ironic songs reverse an ordinary life and its rules and regulations. As I mentioned, in general perspective, festival is a part of European cultural heritage that is ancient in origin. In older times, most festivals were held under the auspices of the church and a part of the religious calendar. But today, we can observe many types of festivals which can have national, spiritual or ethnic backgrounds. Many of them offer a specific focus for local history, ethnic values and social transformations. In my opinion, contemporary festivals became the main cultural stage for expressing, producing and reproducing tradition on ethnic, national and personal level as well. Festival operates as differentiating fields of values, norms and emotions. According to James Clifford, festivals are a part of specific heritage work. In his perspective, tradition is never politically neutral and plays an important role in the movement revolving around identity and recognition. In accordance with results of my fieldworks, I would like to suggest that we could recognize process of festivalizing of tradition as emerging cultural trend. If even brass band music is a main motivation for most visitors, national Serbian context is strongly visible in Guča. The Serbian festival is an expression of common national character with strong political associations. The trumpet music became in this situation a medium for national identity in his pure version. According to Cholovic, we should to treat the Gucha Trumpet Festival as an element of folklorization. Serbian ethnologist exemplifies this trend with the fact that many political events were framed in mythological context based on authentic and unified Serbian folk culture. Cholovic's folklorization of politics now meet in Gucha with ethnic commodification, described by John and Jane Komarovs. They analyze ethnicity in the context of neoliberal market, which motivate ethno-agents to sell their ethnic identity. This selling takes place in many various fields. Among them are ethno-tourist projects and music or cultural festivals. In consequence, we can observe play with authenticity and tradition, marketing and promotion, local culture and global tourism. Similar play we can notice during the Carnival in Santa Cruz. In May 2000, the Carnival of Santa Cruz de Tenerife became the carnival capital of the world and headquarters of the 20th Convention of the Federation of European Carnival Cities. Now, this carnival aspires to become a World Heritage Site, as a place with special cultural or physical significance. Chicharreros also strongly refer to tradition and local culture, but without nationalization. In Santa Cruz, I observe lack of national context. The carnival is an expression of personal character without political connotations. Comparsas, rondallas, and murgas became specific medium for individual identity. In consequence, Serbian Gucha seems like a place where tradition is constantly nationalizing. In contrast, Canarian Santa Cruz is a place where tradition is undergoing privatizing. Please look at the both of festival from my perspective of fieldwork and participant as well. let's go back now to our key questions. First of them is, what is a festival? As I said, festival is old and one of the most popular cultural phenomena. We should to treat it termed public celebration or socio-spatial phenomenon taking place at a specially designated time outside of everyday routine, shaping the social capital and celebrating selected elements of culture. The second one question is how we can define festivalization. In the 90s, in connection with the process of autonomization of festivals and their hegemony in cultural policy, the concept of festivalization has arisen. It was introduced by two German sociologists, Hausermann and Siebel. They described practicing festivalization policy and politics through festivals. The concept itself was used in the context of festivalization of urban policy. The authors referred to huge sport and cultural undertakings, which were so-called catalysts of urban development in many European countries. Festivalization transforms an urban environment into a showcase for visitors and global audiences. Of course, the scope, scale, and impact of festivalization depend fundamentally on context. And our last question is, how does anthropology study of contemporary festivals? Ethnographic fieldwork of festivals entail several important consequences. Research is carried out only a few or dozen days at most. The research is conducted in the presence of many people, and the context of research includes many practices. As I said, listening to music, being in a group of friends, spontaneous music making, eating, drinking, resting, and so on. We should to be ready for being emotionally engaged ethnographer than coolly dispassionate observer. Moreover, one of the most important conditions of festivals fieldwork is anthropologist is in a permanent collaboration with music, dance, crowds of people, huge of color, sound, smells. We have to remember about horizontal method for researching, in which researcher is situated alongside festival's participant, and the gap between the researcher and his or him collaborators is diminished, and relations are disturbed along a horizontal axis rather than a vertical now. I prepare also for you some further readings. Please, you can find here books by Calois, Falassi, Thompson, Turner. Thank you for your attention and see you again.